What is going on, everybody? Art Eddie here with my main man, John Finkel, for a special edition of the Life of Dad show. What's up, sir?
I've just been thinking in my head like da, 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 like a little Monday Night Football theme. Red Sox up 10 runs. Like this is the time to be with us. So hopefully a lot of people are hanging out.
Yeah, we're in definitely a good mood. The topic is going to be best and worst fan you're going to see at a football game. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter and social media, different handles at Art Eddie3 and then John_Finkel. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know if you like this format. Again, most of the time we do the show during the day around 1 o'clock Eastern, but we're switching it up. We thought, like, hey, why don't we have some fun? Why don't we do a night version of this? So we're very excited to see who's out there. We're going to see maybe if some of our loyal listeners and viewers are there, but let us know where you're watching from. We want you to be part of the show. Towards the end of the show, we're going to be doing the Life of Dad Quick Five with Jared Allen. Jared Allen is this week's Life of Dad show guest. You can check out tomorrow on all of our podcasts, wherever you download our podcast. John, first and foremost, man, when was the last time you went to a football game?
Last time I went to a football game, well, I go to a lot of college football games. The last NFL game that I went to was probably when the Patriots came to play the Cowboys here like 2 years ago. So I live in Dallas, so I love living in Dallas. I think it's an amazing sports town. I've been to Jerry World, AT&T Stadium a bunch of times for a lot of college football work that I've done. So well over probably a dozen games at this point in college football. It's just not that. There's no reason to spend like $500 to go to an NFL game there. I went when the Pats came to town. I had a hookup. My brother, my uncle, my dad flew out. I've had a couple tickets come my way, but unless you're going to be really low, like I've been there for Monster Jam, and it's like cavernous, and that's how loud that is. So I just haven't seen the opportunity to dive over there again for another game. So that would be probably my last game. How about you?
Nice, yeah. For me,
Well, I know you. For the people, I know when you went to. Oh, me? I just went yesterday.
Football game was this past Sunday. I went to go see the Panthers and the Giants. I went with a couple of my neighbors. One was a Giant fan, one was a Panther fan. Me, I was just checking my my fantasy scores, and I had Christian McCaffrey in one of my leagues, so I was like really excited when he scored.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Steven Shine, we should real quick. Drew Brees record.
Yeah, Drew Brees. Right. Passing so many records. He was mic'd up. Talk about a life of dad moment. He passes one of the records, the all-time records, passes Peyton Manning, and for most yards thrown by a quarterback. And who was there in the sideline? His wife and his family. Awesome scene right there down in New Orleans, right?
Yeah, no, it's cool. And everybody remembers when they won the Super Bowl, and he was holding. I think his son was barely a year old. I don't even know. It's really, really young. He was holding the big earmuffs on that all the kids have to have when they go through. And then, now I think the kid's got to be 10 years old. I don't remember when they actually won the Super Bowl, but feels like a while ago. So this kid's probably 8 or 10 years old. It's awesome. So I wonder if I just wonder what that's like now that his kid, because the thing with we talk about other athletes, when your kids are old enough to actually see you perform, it's easy. They all have little kids, but he's played long enough where his kid will remember nights like tonight. That's always awesome.
No doubt. Eric is saying Redskins still going to pull out the win. Hail to the Redskins. Another thing, I love this right here. Where is it? David says the best fans are the Eagles, and the worst fans are the Eagles.
Yeah, you can just blanket that Philly. I saw one Pats game there a long time ago, but I saw a few Celtics Sixers games, and it's not pretty. And I've heard, especially as the weather gets colder and the fans get a little more ornery, it gets a little rougher. But I agree with you, Katie. I am from Boston, the Pats fan. New England fans are the best for sure. No doubt about it. You know why? Because despite all the amazing winning and all the obnoxious Pats fans every year, we're 12-4. We go to the AFC Championship. Those of us who really grew up real Patriots fans and were sitting in Foxborough for 2-14 seasons and 3-13 seasons, we deserve this. So deal with our smugness.
It's funny. I grew up in. I was a 49er fan. I got my friends into football. They got me into baseball. I became a Red Sox fan. They're like, we can't be a Niners fan, Art. We're going to, be the Patriots fan. I'm like, all right. Now, I was saying, how people hate the Yankees because they always win? Well, now people hate the Patriots. So you guys are like the Yankees of the NFL. Some of my friends and the other friends were like, nah, I can't say because it's a Life of Dad show. They gave me some choice words for that.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Pats fans, we are, like I said, it's not like we intend to be the way we are. It's just, eventually it'll be over. Belichick will be gone, Brady will be gone, and we'll be bad at some point in time. But until then, why not enjoy it? I could be, I always worry about my son who's 5, who is slowly getting into football and slowly starting to really understand it. Like, he may just miss all of this. Like, if he really becomes a fan, like when you and I did football, maybe at 7, 8, he might just be the year that like we have the random quarterback from LSU who's starting and we're back to being 4-12 and Belichick's gone. So for right now, I'm just going to enjoy it, and that's how it's going to have to be.
This is but like you can be that guy, when your kids have kids and you got your grandkids, you can relive the heyday of there was this one guy, his name was Tom Brady. I'm here. Have a Werther's original while I spin a yarn.
Yeah. It's true, because the YouTube, all the stuff will be on, so like the kids will understand it. The video games keep these guys alive longer, in terms of the like front and center memory of what's going on with them, some of them. So it is what it is. But as far like living here in Dallas, I just got to keep him away from being, the only fans I don't like. I don't care that he's a Rangers fan now, as a Sox fan. Just can't be a Cowboys fan. It's not.
Well, speaking of that, Jeremy Canfield wants to know thoughts on Dallas 4th and 1 in punting and overtime. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Jeremy, it's always like this is such like the Monday morning quarterback talk. And I'm glad you put it out there, because what happened last week when the Colts went for it and they're like, why would you go for it? No, you have to punt. And then they're like, everyone's now like, why didn't the Cowboys go for it? And Jerry Jones is ticked off. It's like, you can't win. Hindsight's always 20/20. I would say the defense of the Cowboys, they were keeping Deshaun Watson to, a pretty decent amount. Like, they weren't scoring at will. So it's like, why not? And I feel like now more than ever, a lot of like games are going into overtime. And like, you almost got to play the field advantage. And like, if you can, punt and pin them down in their area, why not? Another thing right here, Joshua Stewart, my Browns are turning around this year. I want to get your thoughts on Baker Mayfield, because that's your boy. But let me just say this, Joshua. That was a first down last week. You guys should have had one more win in the win column. I
actually would go a step further. I think you should be undefeated if you didn't have one of the worst coaches in the league. I have been on the Baker bandwagon for probably 3 years, since maybe his second year starting at OU. I felt like he had the thing that you want a quarterback to have, all of it. Big games. It's almost like when people are wondering like how this is possible, what he's doing. It's like they didn't watch any college football. The guy every single year took his team into the basically whatever their postseason. Always delivered, always clutch. Not to mention the fact that he's been the most accurate guy probably in college football all the time that he was in there. And all he had to do was do it in the pros. The idea that all you have to do is watch one episode of Hard Knocks and be like, this guy, he can play. They have no idea why it took him this long to even bother putting him in. He gives everyone instant energy. And so I think they should actually be like 4-0 or 5-0 at this point in time. And they should ditch you, bring in like a really awesome, like offensive-minded coach, and let it play.
Nice breakdown, nice analysis.
All Browns.
I'm curious to see how the Browns do going forward, because I feel like they always had that like, Charlie Brown, Lucy mentality where like someone's going to take the ball away from him. The refs took the ball away from him against the Oakland game, but I feel like they're getting more and more confident as this year progresses. So we'll see what happens. Martin says, Bills fans are insane. Even the police have cold ones directing traffic.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've never been to a game up there, but
it's awesome up there. I've been to Rich Stadium, man.
I mean, really, it just seems so, especially like it's almost like they have to get through the first month to then really have it be Buffalo weather, where there's like an advantage and it's cold, and that's how it goes. So, never been there, but I've heard it's amazing.
I feel you, Lee. I'm a Niners fan. Feels like every game now. Like last week is Garoppolo. This time it's Prada. Like everyone's getting hurt. So this is just another year of like injury, and like we'll wait till next year.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Like they've been the Niners are one of those teams that obviously experienced like a ton of glory, and then somehow became kind of not the laughing stock, but just had some awful years with Singletary that they just didn't seem to be working out too well. And then they went to the Super Bowl with Harbaugh and his kind of nonsense. Then he's gone, and now they seem to be back, and like we're on the cusp, and then the injuries and it's a shame. It's a shame for now. They got the new stadium, right? They got everything's playing their way. They think to actually win at some point in time.
No doubt. Here's one of my, since people are kind of weighing in about like we're the best fans and all that other stuff. Since I just went to a game, and I love throwback jerseys. I kind of like the ones that is definitely a conversation starter while you're in line getting food or whatever. If someone sits next to you and you're like, "Hey, man, you're wearing a Lorenzo Hampton jersey, awesome."
Yeah.
So like, I love those like random jerseys. I always want like not if I ever go to a Titans game and they have throwbacks and they do the Oilers, I want an Al Del Greco.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I'm not a place kicker guy, but like Al Del Greco, what an awesome name, and he played for the Oilers, and that's what the jersey I want. So the random like jersey guy that has like this weird jersey, that's awesome. But then you got to watch out for like the ones that just you could tell it just went to like a bargain bin and got one. It's like one of the Cleveland Brown quarterbacks that was drafted really high and it didn't go anywhere.
Brady Quinn jerseys.
Yeah, it's like what are you doing? And the guy that brings a football jersey that like again, I'm a Niners fan. I went with a Giants and Panthers fan. One guy was wearing a Giants jersey and Eli Manning, and the other guy was wearing a D'Angelo Williams like throwback, obviously.
Yeah.
I wasn't wearing anything. I wore like a comic book T-shirt. I saw people wearing Packers jerseys, Lions jerseys, Bills jerseys. I'm like, it's like going to like a Motley Crue concert and wearing a Guns N' Roses T-shirt. Like,
that's something I've never understood. It's on my when we get to our list of the best and the worst fans, like the guy who wears just any old jersey to. Again, I don't understand the need. If it's not your team, I don't really wear jerseys that much more anyway. More of into a T-shirt of the team. But I have jerseys and I'll wear them. But I don't get I'm going, like you said, that's just a random game. I'm not a fan of either team. I'm just going to wear my Drew Bledsoe jersey because I have it.
The only thing I'll allow for that to happen is like when they play in Europe or some other country, and it's like even that team is not like playing, but you're still wearing a football jersey. I get it.
Now you're just representing the U.S.
Yeah, that's your pass right there.
Yeah, actually, real quick, so you were talking about like the vintage jersey thing. So this year the NFL draft was here in Dallas, and I went. I'd never been to the draft before, and that place was the king of all random jerseys. Like you were walking through, and you'd just be like, "Oh, great, you have an Al Toon jersey. That's pretty cool." And then you'd be walking in somebody else, and like you'd see someone, and they'd have these old, a Larry Zonka jersey. Why not have that jersey walking around? And like just these old jerseys. And it's actually one of my favorite things when I go to my best list. But it was just a random thing to see, because they have the groups of teams sitting together. And you'd go through like Detroit, I remember they had like all the, what was the guy, Perriman? I forgot the receiver. I just blanked out on his name. But they had, he was opposite like Herman Moore, Brett Perriman, I can't remember his name, Perry something. Anyway, they had all the Brett Perriman, they had all the receivers from those years, and I'm like, yeah, but the only player you wanted was Barry Sanders, and then you ended up having all these other random receivers who were supposedly good but never were actually very good.
Another cool thing, speaking of jerseys, is when you have like some of the guys wearing like. I saw kids and guys wearing college jerseys, like you mentioned. There was a bunch of Odell Beckham Jr. jerseys from LSU, and then there was
cool.
Manning ones. Those are pretty cool.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing too. The college jerseys at NFL games are kind of weird because we did this show a while back. Like, it is two separate fan bases. Like, it really, there are some overlap, but like, if you were at a Browns game with a OU Baker jersey, half the people would be like, "What's that? What do you have that for?" Like, "Oh, he went to Oklahoma." "Oh, really?" Like, they don't. How many people in Cleveland follow the Sooners, right? Like. Yeah. I'm not making generalization. It's just when you go to the games, there's such a difference between the NFL fan and the diehard college fan who knows, where these guys went to school, or maybe the big guys like Beckham or some of the running backs that came out or quarterbacks. But you're never going to see someone like, "Oh wow, Arizona Brewski jersey, great." Like, no one follows
that. That's a nice reference for Brewski though. Nice, I love that. What are some of the other what is your you can go worst or best fan? Go ahead.
Let's start with the worst fans. Let's go with the worst fans of the game. So my number 5 worst fan in NFL games is the shouting from super far away guy. Like, I've been lucky enough to have a lot of great media passes to games, so I've been able to be on the sideline and have great media seats where you're not in the press box. But for most of my paying ticket life, I'm somewhere in the middle. Maybe I've splurged a few times, but mostly in the middle to the nosebleeds of whatever I'm at. And it's the guys who are screaming play calls and screaming terrible, I don't care about swearing. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other. But when they're just screaming at the coach directly, from maybe 700 yards out and 300 feet up, I don't understand the energy. Like, cheering's fine, screaming at like players, but the guys who just second guess the coach, on a random 3rd and short, "Oh, you got to go with the tight end seam. They want it." He was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? No one can hear you." That's my number 5 worst guy.
My number guy is similar to that. It's just the constant complainer. No matter what happens, everything like the sky is falling and no one can do right. And even though it's like if they like I don't know, like if it's like 3rd and 20 and they get like a first down, like, oh, I'm just waiting for the flag. You know the
Yeah.
flag's coming. You know the
Oh
flag's
God, no, yeah, that guy's awful. Yeah, just a total negative. Like, yeah, that
coming. Why did
guy's.
you even come here if you just
Yeah, I've seen it all. Everything's, yeah, that guy's pretty bad. I remember 4, and this was general. It's not even a bothersome. I'm just curious. Like I'll roll with like the face paint person. Like I get, it's not my thing, but I don't. It is what it is. The full body paint thing, I can't get behind that. I don't really understand it. I don't really understand the face paint really, but the body paint thing, the grown men body paint thing, I just picture like you get up, you have tickets, and somewhere in the middle of like you and I or regular people are like, let's head to the game. They're like, no, wait a sec. I gotta lather myself in blue because it's the Broncos. I don't get it.
That's my number 3, just because. Okay, I love fall temperatures. Right, living in North Carolina now, it's like 80s. I was like, I don't know if you can see the weird tan lines I got. I put on sunscreen. I was like seeing everybody like they had face painters in the stadium. I don't know if it would cost anything. I just saw like a bunch of booths.
Yeah.
And so like there was one guy, like an adult, that had like this huge panther, like blue, like almost like Blue Man Group meets Panthers. And I was like, and I just saw him sweating. I'm like, if you paid for that and that thing is just coming off right now, like
awful.
How do you feel right now?
Yeah, and then like that's even if you get into the stadium as an impulse buy and maybe you're hammered or something, like I'll even give you the caveat for that happening one time. It's the guy who paints himself at home and gets there and is like, no, this is it. This is what we're doing again. Like, and I get there's groups, there's like the Black Hole, there's the Dog Pound, there's like certain groups, but just the average, because it happens, you'll see just 2 dudes in jeans and all blue at like a Detroit game, home away game. And you're like, what's the thing that's happening here? Yeah.
Jason goes better than the guy in chainmail armor staring at you for 3 hours.
Spikes on his shoulder pads. Very true, Jason. It's very, very true. What was that? So that was my 5 and 4. Where was that your? You had
my 3rd was the paint. 4 is the guy that just keeps on getting up and back, like back and forth, like getting up. Like every time, it's like, what's going on? Like, do you have the bladder of a 90-year-old man? Like, what's happening here?
Yeah, that's a shame at any live event. I always have a little sympathy for older guys sometimes, but the guy who if it's a bathroom thing, like I'll honestly like it happens. But it's the every 3 seconds for like a beer, then a dog, then peanuts, then another beer, and you're like, you know what? You can get 2 beers and a hot dog at the same time, moron. Like you don't have to continue to get up every single time. That is bothersome. I don't really. Plus, I never get that same guy is the guy who doesn't have any idea what's going on in the game ever. It'll be like 3rd and 1, down 7, 3 minutes left, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna go get myself a hot dog. You're like, now?
Yeah.
Jackass? What are you doing?
And he goes, worse, the ones who think that they're on the payroll.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was saying to the guy before. It's like the guy who shouts from so far away, it's as if someone said to him, look, buddy, we really aren't sure what we're going to do on these play calls. Can you shout as loud as you can from section 302 and let the offensive coordinator know how you feel about his calls? Just as loud as you can. That way we'll hear you. We don't want to give you any kind of microphone or walkie-talkie. Just shout, and we want to know how you feel after the call happens.
Christopher goes, the best are the ones that don't get drunk and throw up or act up belligerent. Worse, the opposite. LOL. That's my number 1. I mean, to be honest, full honesty, I've sometimes been like that belligerent like guy that way too many out in the sun, and man, you don't feel good the next day. But yeah, I think everyone can admit that they've been there, whether it's whatever. Sometimes you drink too many, and I'm just like, yeah, I was that guy. But like, yeah, that's so true, Chris. Nice comment right there.
Yeah, that's the thing where it's like, when you're younger, I take age into consideration too for some reason. Plus, everything seems to be maybe we're getting like a little more family friendly, like the bleachers, like the nosebleeds. Like when I was growing up, we used to go to the Jets Giants like preseason game, and like the nosebleeds at Jets games were basically like an R-rated anything. It was just anything went. And now I feel like everything's just a little bit more family friendly, and they're trying to figure out, how it's going to go. So I agree but that's not one of my worst. I don't mind that. I think that's part of the atmosphere. I want more of it, actually.
Look at this right.
After the game, there you go. Well, you factor Canadians into the mix, and you never really know what's going to go on there.
So yeah, I gave my 1 through 5 worst.
So my 3 is, and this I think adults with signs. I have an opposite of that on my best side, but adults with signs to me, again, like you're preparing yourself to go to a football game. You're excited, and you go get some poster board and it says like Breeze sucks, like, and then you have to carry that in, and like someone has to see this, and the people behind you can't see, and the camera gets on you, and it says like, especially it's usually not a positive sign. It's almost always somebody like taunting an away team. You know what I mean? Or like if you try to be clever, like some State Farm thing with Aaron Rodgers. I don't. That's one of my worst. Adults with signs doesn't make any sense to me.
An honorable mention for the worst is the person that just goes from seat to seat that tries to like they're the last row nosebleeds, but they're like just trying to find seats that aren't there. And you can kind of tell like, yeah, you're not supposed to be sitting there. And then the person that is like not sitting in the right seat gets all upset, like, oh, I gotta move again. Like, well, you didn't buy that ticket. So
yeah, that actually that's a sort of a worst overall person. The person in the wrong seat who acts like they're being put out when you show up to your seat. That's the greatest. Because you're like, oh, is that section, it's 203, seats A, B, and C. And they're like, oh, God. You're like, well, where are you sitting? And they're like, oh, 310. You're like, well, what? Sorry I showed up.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What are you eye rolling for? You were up there, and I'm down here. All right, so I have 2 more for the worst.
All right.
This one I came about specifically for my time living in Miami, but I'm sure it exists other places. It is the awful custom jersey guy. So Miami Dolphins had this thing with these losers who've been following the team forever. I saw so many games that I went to there because I used to go to a lot of games, and it had 72 as the number from the 72 Dolphins, and then it had perfect season as the name.
Wait, how many people had that?
I used to go to every Patriots game because Dolphins were always cheap tickets and easy to go to. We only lived about a half hour away, and I'd usually pick another good game of the Dolphins because it was cheap seats, easy to go to, like nice weather. It's my South Florida, so I usually go to 2 games a year. And without a doubt, there was dudes rolling around in their 72 perfect season shirt, and I just kept thinking, like, what is the point of that shirt? Like, it's 40 years ago at this point. Like, what are you doing? So that was one of my other. And then my number 1 real quick is the hanging on and the pass guy. Like, whenever you're at these games, and I'm sure you're just at them, where all the guy wants to do is talk about like the Dolphins guy, but it happens everywhere. I just happened at the Cowboys game. Like, dude wanted to talk about Aikman, Emmett, and Irvin, and I'm like, dude, that literally I was in high school when this was going on. Like that, it's been a long, long time since they were good.
And he goes worse. The guy who's had the seat license since flight was invented and thinks nothing can ever change.
Yeah, those are rough guys too.
Wait, what just happened? We got some breaking news. Pick 6. What happened?
Oh, is that? Yeah, exactly. All right. We have our best. You have your best. I have my 5 best also.
So my 5, for me, one of the things is like the guys at the tailgate that's like, hey, come on in. Like, and if you're wearing like the same team jersey.
Oh, those are great guys. Yeah.
And you don't look like, you kind of look like it's like your first day of school. Like you got your first day school phase. Like, what's going on? Where am I supposed to go? Where's my homeroom? Hey man. And they'll be like, nice Roger Craig jersey. Come on over here. You want a dog? You want a burger? You want some ribs? What do you need? Right?
Yep. That's my number. That's my number 4 is the somehow stumbling into an amazing tailgate that was better than anything you would have ever planned or ever thought. Like the tailgate with like the RV and the DirecTV going on, and you're rolling through. This happened to us when we were here. Like I had on my old school Bledsoe. I think my dad had like Richard Seymour. My brother has like a Ty Loss, and my uncle had like a Vinatieri, like all old school Patriots jerseys. And we got into one where it was like they've been smoking this pig for like 2 days. And had the big screen on the side of the RV, and it was like, yeah, just come hang out. We're like, well, yeah, we're yes, this was amazing. Best week you ever had. So that is definitely that's my number 4. My number 5 was the when you see like the kid at his first game, like the first time, like you see a dad roll with a kid and they're asking us questions, and like you can catch that moment when they actually see the field. I think it's a little cooler in baseball when you see the field for the first time, but it's still like the size of some of the stadiums when the kids come in and they check it out. I went when I was in Tampa for a game. We happened to be walking in next to a dad taking his 2 kids for the first time, and they have the Buccaneer ship out there, and it's like the kids were like, "Oh my god!" It was awesome. Yeah. So those are my number 5 and 4.
Right, nice, man. So my 5 was the come on, like eat as much as you want, like tailgate guy. Number 4 is the fan that is for the home team, but is cool with everybody else for that is a visiting team, and it's like the 2 fans that are like just having like fun like banter back and forth, but it's not like ridiculously mean or like really harmful. It's like the 2 that like cats and dogs living together fans.
Yeah,
can do that. That's my number 4.
That's a good one. My next one is, and this is the flip side of the other one. Kids with signs, I'm all for. Like, I love when kids are like, bringing a sign, whatever, coming here when we went. It's like, love you, Dak, for Dallas Cowboys fans, or like, we live for whoever, or like, the kid signs thing gets me because that's like, you got your kid into the game. Like, he's sitting at home thinking of something cool to say, and maybe it's just a number of his favorite player or whatever. But kids and signs, I'm down with that. I don't know what the age is, probably like 13, maybe a cutoff. Then it becomes not cool. Like, I don't think high school kids with signs are cool, but young kids, 12 and under with signs, two thumbs up for me.
No doubt.
What's up, Eric? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Usually, like I said, we're around 1 o'clock Mondays and Wednesdays. But we're kind of switching it up, just seeing if anybody's checking the show out while they're watching Monday Night Football. So let's see, I did 4 and 5. Number 3 is, even though we're kind of talking about like the old guy, and someone said like the old guy, like things never change, but like I don't mind that one like old fan that kind of gives you tidbits here and there, like, and it's like sprinkled in, and it's nothing too bad in the conversation. It's not like when you're sitting next to someone on the plane that keep on talking to you, but it's like peppering in here and there. It's like the best color commentator, where it's like he knows when to talk about things. I appreciate that, because it's like it's not like so ridiculous, but it's just like it's the point where like, oh, okay, if they're interesting facts, I'm digging it.
You have my same number 2. I call them the long time season ticket holder. So like, if you somehow luck out and you're sitting next to like the even tempered dude who's been sitting there, probably for 30 years and around the same seats, and you're talking about, pick whatever you're talking about, and he'll turn around with the nice information, or he was there for the 2 Super Bowls 30 years ago, but keeps on going to the games. Like, they just, the color commentary is a great comment. They add so much to a game, especially if you're, not a crazy fanatic who's like swearing or yelling up and down the kid, or being like just a regular fan, like, who wants to have the conversation. You're reminiscing with those guys. It's almost like a grandfather. You're at the game, can give you a little bit of love there. So yes, I'm all for that.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Michael, so true. When like adult like knock over kids just so they can get a autographed baseball or a football or something along those lines, because it's kind of like you're ruining it from everybody. Because I remember this past Sunday, Odell was taking off his helmet. They were like getting ready, like they were just doing like practice punts and catches. And he takes off his helmet, goes over, give a kid like a high five, another kid. And then like a couple adults like came over and like almost like pushed out of the way. And then like Odell's like, what? Puts the helmet back on and leaves. Like, you just ruined it for everybody. So
adults doing anything with play, like, it's just, you're a grown man. Like, they're athletes, they're cool and it's awesome. But like, going nuts over any of that stuff, that stuff should be all for the kids. I've always said that they would do well by letting some sections of the stadium open just for the guys, bring kids down for an inning, like rotate people in and out for a game or an inning or a quarter or something like that. My number 1, and this is my favorite kind of guy at the stadium, is the guy who's wearing. So now it's all cool to have like your Mitchell and Ness throwback jersey, but when you find the guy who has the jersey from the time the player played, like, I love that, dude. Like, you'll be walking through and you'll sit here in Dallas, someone on a Staubach jersey, and then you're like, well, that actually is a Staubach jersey from like 1973. Like, you kept that jersey. Like, that is awesome. I think my dad has like a Grogan jersey from when Grogan was like so. Like if you have that, and it's not an actual like fake throwback where you bought the jersey now, but it's someone's old name, but you can tell it's the jersey from 35 years ago, and you strike up a conversation, they'll tell you like, yeah, they didn't sell jerseys like they do now online. Like you had to want that jersey, you got to figure out a way to get it. Usually it's like, I was at spring ball and they threw it to me, or preseason ball or something. So big fan of the actual, not the throwback, the actual legit classic jersey.
Nice, man. I love it. Yeah. And my last one is, it's not really a fan per se. I guess they're kind of fans because even though they're working there, I think they'll enjoy going there. But it's like the usher that'll kind of let things slide, like towards the end, like especially maybe at like more or less baseball games and maybe football games. But it's like if people are kind of like leaving early, it's like, hey, you want to come back down? Like they'll get it. Like especially if you're kids, it's like, all right, bring it. Because I think if we're talking about best fans, they're a fan of the game and they appreciate and they see what you're doing. So they're like, yeah, come on down. And that has happened a couple of times. So it's like, all right, cool. And they'll kind of like just give you a little wink and a smile, like, all right, go ahead. So that's my number one.
And again, anytime you ever get hooked up, I mean, it's only happened to me one time, and it was I was with my son at a Rangers game. My whole life, it never happened to me. I was walking in with him, and some guy randomly was like, hey, I got to go. I have 2 tickets right behind home plate. Do you want them? And I was just like, yeah, man, like, I guess so. And, they were like,
thanks, Michael.
Thank you for watching, Mike. We appreciate it. It was like 8 rows back. Problem is, in Texas in June, like, those are the worst seats ever. You're just getting demolished. My son was like 4 at the time. So I ended up keeping, it was the only, I was given, probably, if those seats were Yankee Stadium, they would have been like $1,800 seats. But I ended up going through. There you go. Nice.
Here's your boy, man.
Yeah. See, keep those jerseys. That's the coolest thing you can have, man. I had an Irving Fryer jersey for a long time. I think.
Nice, Irving. White or red?
It was the red with the blue and the white and then the stripes on the shoulders there.
That's awesome. And he said, imagine if football ushers were like hockey ushers that would let you until stoppage.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that'd work out really, really well for everybody.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, do you think we should show everybody our interview with the Life of Dad Quick 5 with Jared Allen?
Yeah, man, we got a huge personality coming up now. So everybody take a listen. What we do is we put the screen on for a minute because we already did the interview, and listen to I'll say a friend of the show, Jared Allen.
Yes, here we go. I think we're going. Should be going. Right about now.
Hey everyone, Arnetti here for the Life of Dad Show and On the Line. I'm very happy to have retired NFL great and now player relations executive for the Alliance of American Football. It's none other than Jared Allen. Thanks for taking the time to chat with me, Jared. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good, man. Now we got the Life of Dad Quick 5. Favorite family movie in the Allen household is right now is what?
Right now, Greatest Showman.
Oh, nice. All right, cool. Favorite song you guys like to sing and dance to as a family is?
Oh, goodness. The entire Greatest Showman soundtrack.
Okay, nice. That's all. Yeah,
probably,
Go ahead.
Probably This Is Me on that soundtrack. Obviously, this is the greatest show. The headlining of the soundtrack is great, but the This Is Me song is probably
nice.
All our faves.
I would say 7 times out of 10 for the movie question, and then the song is always like the soundtrack because everyone's like loving the movie and then the soundtrack's good. So that's awesome.
We are Greatest Showman tonight, so man.
Nice, man. Describe the perfect family vacation. Where would it be?
Oh goodness, we always have a blast everywhere we go. But we have some great friends in Hawaii. Some of our greatest family trips have been we've been at a house on the beach in Hawaii, and those. We might plan to be there for 10 days, end up being 3 weeks.
That's awesome.
Those are always the best ones where it's just, you got nothing to do, nothing on your calendar, and you just like, let's just stay a little longer.
Would that be after the Pro Bowl usually? Is that like you kind of say like, oh, okay.
Usually. One time we stayed for like super after the Pro Bowl, we ended up staying in Hawaii for like 6 weeks. Not going home. It was amazing.
Nice, man. You were the NFL sack leader a few times in the, for a season in the league. Which quarterback was the toughest to bring down?
Oh, the toughest to bring down. In my career, let's see. Believe it or not, I missed 2 sacks on Doug Flutie, so that was pretty tough. Ben Roethlisberger's huge. He's tough to be on the ground. You got guys like, Peyton and Drew Brees and those guys are tough to get down because they go to the ball so fast. Garrard, he played for Jacksonville.
Okay, yeah.
I'll never forget that. I hit him probably my last game in 2007. Man must have had 4 or 5 pressures on him, and I just could not get that dude on the ground, bouncing off of him. And I needed like 2 sacks to get to 10, and I just could not tackle that son of a gun. He was a stout character.
Thanks for sharing that. Lastly, was there an offensive lineman that you had like fun, like talking trash with, or just going back and forth with while you're playing in the league? Like, you looked at the schedule, like, yep, can't wait to go against him.
Every single one of them. Everyone that tried to talk trash, that was game on. Yeah, me and Donald Penn had some fun battles against each other.
Nice.
Let's see, we had goodness. I went up against. It depends. Usually when you're playing well, I probably give. There's only a handful of tackles that actually you can talk trash back pretty well. So Donald's one of them.
Nice.
But as far as some of the toughest guys, man, I had to practice every day against guys with Willie Rofe out of Kansas City, and then big Brian McKinney, and Minnesota. Sometimes it was just a lot easier having to go to practice.
That could be a good thing, right? Though, like it's like, all right,
yeah,
stress the whole week, and then
like,
nice, man.
I was a rookie going against Willie. I get my butt kicked all day.
People, make sure you follow Jared on Twitter at JaredAllen69. Go to his website, JaredAllen69 Incorporated, INC.com. Jared, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. Continued success with everything you got going in the future, and also looking forward to checking out the Alliance of American Football, sir.
Absolutely appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, you take care.
Bye.
All right, cool. And you guys, like I said, you can listen to the full interview tomorrow wherever you listen to the Life of Dad show. So thanks for Jared Allen for taking the time to chat with us. We got a lot of cool guests coming up. So stay tuned for that as well. John, anything any clothing thoughts before we let everybody go?
No, I think it's good. I like trying a little different time zones. So guys, like we always have, we always go in and check the comments a little bit later. So if you see anything coming up, feel free to write us. We will check that out as well. If you have any thoughts on the show, hit us up. But also want to make sure, if you want to stay up to date on what we have going on, make sure you follow Art at Art83 and myself at John_Finkel, Twitter, Instagram, both of those. And we appreciate you joining us. Let's go back to the Red Sox route, and the Breeze train rolls on.
All right. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Peace.